Today, I just wanted to dispel some of the pre-programmed nonsense that you're so conditioned to believe. Like, for example, the universe doesn't recognize positive or negative, it just recognizes energy. That's nonsense. That's absolute nonsense. When you say the universe, you really say source God. So to say that God doesn't recognize anything, that's a major insult, and it's highly risible. So the universe recognizes every energy because the universe is the source of that energy. So how can it not recognize itself? It's just ridiculous. Secondly, this whole notion about, whenever you send out your intention, the universe sends you reflections of that. The universe doesn't operate with reflections. The universe operates with echoes. Echoes are never reflections. Reflections are opposite images cast within the pane of the mirror, and I mean P-A-N-E, like a glass pane. So if you're standing in front of a mirror with a t-shirt with some writing on it, it's in reverse. The universe is not offering you anything that is the antithesis or the opposite of whatever it is you're casting into the mirror. There is no mirror. It's echoes. Let me give you an example. Use a cave as an analogy. Let's say the universe is a cave. When you scream in the cave screams back. When you talk in the cave talks back. When you whisper in the cave whispers back. And when you're silent, the cave says nothing at all. That's how the universe works. Now, I'd like to get into another topic about your meditative state, using a party as an analogy. When you throw a party, you send out invitations, but you only send out the invitations to people that you want to come to the party. The people that you don't want there, you don't send them. Then you don't send them invitations. And if they wind up showing up to your party, you ask them to leave. That's the same way you have to be when you create a spiritually meditative inclusion zone, which is also an exclusion zone. You have to create this sacred space that only certain things are allowed in and other things are not. For example, in your meditative inclusion zone, the ego is not invited. Toxicity, dysfunction are not invited. Doubt, uncertainty, fear, worry, confusion, not invited. That is going to be sent to the exclusion zone. Now, only in the inclusion zone are you inviting all of the positive vibrations, things that can move you forward in life. It's really common sense, folks. It's like I said, throwing a party. Do you want to throw a party, send out invitations to people that you really can't stand and that don't like you? You guys don't get along, you guys fight, argue, you guys never see eye to eye. I mean, come on, who would do that? Even if they're your own family, you wouldn't do that. It's the same thing with your sacred space. You have to create an inner sanctum. This is a sacred area that you stay in continually immersing your energies in this inclusion zone, this spiritually meditative inclusion zone that you create. It's not a boundary. That's all political correct nonsense. I'm creating boundaries and all that. That's nonsense. You either want someone in your life or you don't. It's real simple. You don't walk around with a 10-foot wall surrounding you. This is my area. I need my own space, and it's not the same thing. That's not what I'm talking about. That's social programming. What I'm referring to is you creating. There's a word. It's called cavitation. It means the formation of an empty space within a solid body or object. You are creating a spiritual cavitation wherever you are. Within that inner sanctum, you're only placing things that you desire there to be that of a positive nature. So it's nothing to do with boundaries or anything like that. That's a completely different idea, completely different ideology, and a completely different concept. You create a meditative spiritual inclusion zone, and this is where you draw in all the divine transmissions. These are conscious vibrational waveforms that are continuously being beamed to the earth. The reason why people are not aware of them is because they're not open to them, so therefore they cannot access them. These are the individuals who are locked in the matrix, who believe that all there is what they see. Life is short, life is a game, get yours. Well, all that nonsense, all that programming that's crippled them their entire life. Or they're so emotionally paralyzed that they rely on religion as their connection to God, which is the biggest mistake. It is the biggest mistake, because look at all the lies that they pump into those people's heads. It's disgusting. But anyway, I never begrudge anybody their connection. If religion is yours, God bless you. I would highly advise against it. It's the worst way to go, but go for it. It is your decision, it's your life, and it is your free will. But anyway, back to my initial point, create a spiritual meditative inclusion zone. And in that inclusion zone, it's a gathering of all of the sacred entities, all of the celestial bodies, divine beings, the angelic realm, all of the beautiful things that you want to see in your life. And within that inclusion zone, you don't allow anything in, like the ego, anything of a detriment, a hindrance. Nothing whatsoever is allowed in of that nature. People, energies, memories, and all of it, it's not allowed in. That's the only way it's going to work for you. Anything of an impediment, anything that's a hindrance, anything that's of resistance or blockages, it's got to go. It cannot be allowed to be invited in this inclusion zone. That gets tossed in the exclusion zone. Think of your inclusion zone as this very sacred space that has a very amazing ability to absorb what is useful and productive, but at the same time, it filters out what is not. So you have to create that space, and you have to dwell within it all the time. You can't just intermittently, okay, today I want to, tomorrow I won't, because every time you do that, you're setting the clock back, so to speak, to square one. The universe doesn't respond like that. As I've said, the universe responds with echoes, not reflections. You have to understand something. Vacillations tend to confuse the universe. It's like you're placing an order online, and then you cancel it, and then you place it again, and then you cancel it, and then, on and on and on. The order will never come. You have to be very clear about something. You either want something or you don't. You have to be all in it or you're not. You have to be clean, clear, and precise with your intention, just like when you're driving on the parkway. You're signaling. If you're in the extreme right lane, you're signaling your intention to get over one lane to the other driver so they don't crash into you, and they're going to make a space for you. It's exactly how it works with the universe. You have to be clean, clear, and precise with your intentions, and maintain a consistent positive vibrational alignment with those intentions and the frequency of your dreams and aspirations. And then you do this by becoming a vibrational equivalent to the unlimited field of potential activation, which is a bridge that connects the metaphysical to everything that is comprised of physical matter. And just work on maintaining and sustaining that forever until whatever it is you desire actualizes and materializes into the physical. And then go to the next one. Do not multitask, because what you're doing if you're multitasking, if you want 5 different desires at once, what you're doing is you are diminishing your energy by dividing it up. It's good to focus on one thing at one time, and then when that's realized, go to the next. Instead of, I want this and this and this and this and this and this. Because now you are depleting your energy levels. You have a creative energy that you have 100% of, but if you're going to put some energy to one intention and another and another and another, you're actually taking it down. So instead of 100% focused on one, now it's 20% focused on 7 or even 3%, 2%, whatever it is. You're diminishing the power of your engine of creation. So just keep those things in mind, and don't let anybody dissuade you or coerce you or knock you off your path. That's why you should never, 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 never tell anybody about your dreams, your ideas, or intentions before they reach fruition, because not everyone has your best interests at heart. Trust me when I tell you on that, even if they're your own family, because people are envious, insecure, jealous, and they just don't want to do anything with their life. So many people are lazy. They just want to press an app and, there you go, $700 million just mysteriously just appeared in my mailbox. They honestly believe in the law of attraction, that you attract things into your life. It's not true. There's no such thing as magnetic attraction. It doesn't exist. It does not exist. If you really know the true science behind magnetism, you'll understand that magnetic attraction does not exist. It's not even an anomaly. It's an enigma, because it doesn't exist. You don't attract anything into your life. Everything that you think that you don't have, that you've been programmed to believe that you don't have through lack, loss, or absence mentality, it's right here. The reason why you can't see it is because you're not vibrating in the frequency that it is, because these are metaphysical elements. And if you're vibrating low, you're not going to see it. It's common sense. It's like you being on the ground floor and wondering why you can't peek through the top floor of a 100-story apartment building, because you're not looking through the window. You're not at the level of the apartment up there. You're at the ground level. It's common sense. Unfortunately, it's not that common anymore. But anyway, create a spiritually meditative inclusion zone and exclusion zone, where only the positives are invited and the negatives are not. And that will be an easier journey for you in order for you to see the things that you truly desire. Because remember one thing, the true love you desire is the true love you deserve. You deserve the very best that the universe has to offer. You always have and you always will. And you have to convince yourself of that. And that comes from the building of the foundation of self-love. And the first building block of self-love is forgiving yourself, letting go, moving on, and never giving anybody any power over you anymore. Stop caring what people think, and that's how you're moving on in a really great way. Anyway, have an amazing day. God bless. Namaste. I love you all. You are always loved. You're never alone. And remember, all of your darkness is behind you. Your road ahead is divine. Absolutely.